I'm here with Mrs. Bridges to talk about the ins and outs of the next project that we will be doing in academic advisory.
Hi there. Do you remember the story of the boy who cried wolf?
Of course.
Okay, so the beginning of it is that the boy cries wolf and the villagers, well, I think he tells them they haven't seen a wolf, and so the villagers get scared and they hide. And then he continues to cry wolf. Well, eventually the villagers then deem him as a liar. So then what happens?
He cries wolf when there actually is a wolf and no one believes him.
And to the peril of the whole village, right? Okay, so, and then the idea is that our personal beliefs, that's one about lying, obviously, right? So the personal belief that things are what they seem are just a fundamental way of life. It is a fundamental of life, and that we have, that you believe in something is better than believing in nothing. Would you say that would be right?
Yeah.
Okay. So beliefs are among the most important things that drive us in our life, that makes us succeed, or that determines what we're going to do in life. And if any of these beliefs are challenged, then we tend to get angry, and we would separate ourselves from somebody who maybe we're even friends with if they challenge what our beliefs are. So you rely on these personal beliefs to maintain a sense of who you are. And if that is challenged, then you can get in fights with friends and others, and you just, or shut down and choose not to do any of those things, right? And so that brings us to the idea of what our next project is, which is discovering your beliefs or your values. The belief that you have determines the course of your life in most instances. So it is similar to finding out what your interests are, what your learning styles are, except for this is much deeper. It's not just that you like chocolate chip ice cream or you like playing basketball. It's that you are discovering your true values and beliefs about things around you. So that will be our next project.
Okay, yeah, interesting. I like it. What exactly should kids get from this exercise?
Okay, so from the exercise, what they're going to do, and it'll take a couple days, but it is really something that you'll want to dive into and really take your time doing. Because what they'll do is, and get from it, is the idea that how are my beliefs now as a freshman or as a senior in high school or anywhere in between? What are my beliefs now, and who are those around me that have similar beliefs? What you'll find that in high school you are friends with people just because you grew up with them and that you had similar interests. You both played baseball or volleyball or cheerleading, or you were in the plays together and band together. But until you discover what their really values are, their values or beliefs are, you don't know if you're really capable or meant to be together as friends or in a group together. And so that's the important thing, is discovering who you can get along with to do a project with. And not just get along with, but have the interest in succeeding at it. So for instance, on our sheet that you'll fill out, there will be 21 different words that you will have. One of them being achievement, helpful, honesty, loyalty, open-mindedness. And these words will be chunked together in groups of 5. And you have to rate those from 1 to 5, 1 being your most, to 5 being the least that you would rank. So in one of the questions, you would have achievement, assertiveness, knowledge, security, and self-sufficiency. So what would be, do you think, Maddie, your number one word, or that you value in those words?
I would say knowledge would be the most important to me.
Knowledge would be the most important to you, and what would be the least?
The least of those 5 would probably be security, only because I feel like there's a lot of different ways that you can feel secure and a lot of different definitions for security. Not that I don't think it's important, but of those 5, I would probably rank it 5th.
And funny you should mention that there's different definitions, because I have supplied a definition sheet for you. So security on this definition, according to this, would be freedom from threats. So you probably still would count that as your number 5 out of that list,
yeah.
Right? Okay. And so now if I were to fill out this whole thing, and I find out in the end that knowledge is my least on all across the board, and knowledge is your number 1, and we're working in a group together, and let's say mine is achievement, and you don't really care about achieving maybe, you and I may not get along in that group because I want to achieve. I want to get this project done and I want to be successful at it. And you're like, I don't really need to get it done. I'm happy just knowing I have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And so we may have conflict together. So this may help us, the students be able to understand who would be good group members. And then also for the teachers to be able to say when they want to group kids together in teams, instead of having them do them themselves, that they can look at these and say, you know what, from their beliefs and values, I would think these people would get along better and be able to do this project. Not this person's a straight A student and this person's not, or this person doesn't tend to get their work done and this one does, but maybe they'll work better because they're with people who have the same beliefs that they do.
Okay, yeah, that kind of actually leads me into my next question, which is what should teachers get from this exercise? Will they also be filling out these questions?
I think they should. I think we would like them to participate in these activities just right along with the kids or the students, and they'll be able to see also the similarities and be able to discuss some of these things and what their beliefs. What's interesting about this is I did this when I was a sophomore in college. And I put it away, I kept it, and I put it away, and then I did it again as a teacher to my 12th grade students right before they were going off to college. And and that was, 7 years later. And the difference between my own in 7 years was dramatic. And what I believe to be my number one and what I believe to not, to be my least one, it definitely changes. And so what would be interesting is to see you do these every year, to see how, as a freshman, you did this, and by your senior year, how are your beliefs different? And it's good for teachers to do that as well, to see, okay, I might be a second year teacher. How are my beliefs different now than they will be in 10 years? So, I think that, but the most important for teachers to do it is to also just be able to connect with the students to see that, yeah, we all have similar values, or we don't, and that's okay. I may be able to work with this teacher a little bit differently than I would with this teacher. And so maybe Mr. Malley can also use it to get people together.
That's awesome. So what is it exactly?
What they'll do is you'll go into your advisory class and your teacher will go over a couple definitions of what values are and what beliefs mean, what those definitions are. Then what you will do is each student will get a form that's similar like this, and there are 5 words here. Or 5 different things: financial success, good reputation, professional recognition, power and influence, and security. And you will rank those from 1 to 5, 1 being your most important to you to 5 being the least. Then you will mill around the room and you will find those who have the number 1 the same as you. And you'll talk about why you think that is, why you value that. Then the next time you mill around, you will go to your number 5. This is my least one. Find another person who has a number 5 and why you think that is. For you. And so that's just kind of the intro to it. The teacher will have a copy of the definitions, so if you don't know what a definition is, you'll have that. They'll go over another interesting sheet about what values are deemed as terminal values versus instrumental values. Terminal values are those that are always with you. The instrumental ones are ones that influence you and can change. And so they'll go over those. Then you will get the form that I was just talking about, where this is what's going to take the most time, and we want you to really take the time to think about these. Don't just 1 through 5, but each group you will rank 1 to 5, 1 to 5, 1 to 5, and you will see maybe the word achievement several times throughout this whole, 5 times actually. Every word will be there 5 times, but they'll be with different words. So maybe achievement is number 1 in this list, but it's number 3 in this list because of the other words that influence that. Then you'll take those. And every time you see the word achievement on the previous sheet, if it was ranked number 1, the first time you put a 1 there. The second time it was a 3, you put a 3, and so on. You add those up and you have the total at the end. Then what will happen is you will then rank them. The least number being number 1. So if your number is 5, then that would be your number 1 because there would be 1s all the way across. And another one might be 27, that might be later down here. So you'll rank those. When you do that, then you'll put them in this sheet, and you'll have your top 5, your middle 5, and your bottom 5. Then you'll be able to see, these are my top 5 values. you'll walk around and kind of see what others, and a lot of it you'll know. You know some of your friends very well right now, and you'll be able to say, yep, I knew you'd be in here, and I'm similar, and I know that's why we get along so well. And then there'll be these 5 down here that may not be your values. And what you'll be able to know is, these top 5 people, if they have similar values, we'll get along really well in a group and we'll work well together. These are kind of the people that you'll know you'll butt heads with, and you might want to not be formed in a group with them. Doesn't mean you don't like them, doesn't mean you don't have similar interests, but it means that you may not be able to work very well together through the research of doing this. The research has shown that that's what this will do. And so,
Awesome.
in the end, that's what you'll discover, and some people will say, this isn't for me. I don't know why I'm doing this, but hopefully I've described it enough that you'll know somewhat and the reason why, and therefore you'll be able to choose groups more effectively, and then also, most importantly, know more about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Bridges. I think this is going to be a really helpful exercise, and I'm excited to see how everyone's going to react to it.
Thank you.